Sometimes people say they want to grow, and they mean it. But growth has a cost that is rarely talked about clearly. It can make you miss versions of yourself that were easier to be, simpler to explain, less aware of what was wrong, less able to see what was missing, less emotionally precise, less honest maybe, but also less burdened by what honesty eventually revealed. That longing can be confusing, because the old version of you may not have been healthier. It may not have been more aligned. It may not have been more peaceful in any deep way. And still, you miss it. Often, what you miss is not the inaccuracy. It is the ease. Less awareness can feel lighter. When you notice less, you have less to process. When you understand less, you have less to grieve. When you cannot fully name the pattern, you can still live inside it without the pain of knowing exactly what it costs. That is why growth sometimes feels harder before it feels better. It removes a kind of innocence, not childish innocence, but emotional innocence. The ability to stay in things without fully seeing them. The ability to accept the familiar story without questioning it too deeply. The ability to call discomfort normal, because you do not yet have language for what else is possible. Once that awareness arrives, you cannot fully go back. And that can create grief, not because you truly want the older life back, but because the older version of you got to live with less internal complexity, less contradiction, less conscious tension between what you know and what you still have not changed. There is a strange mercy in not fully seeing. Awareness removes some of that mercy. Now you notice the pattern sooner. You notice the emotional cost sooner. You notice the way certain people affect you, the way old habits reduce you, the way your nervous system reacts, the way you betray yourself in small ways you used to overlook. That is useful, but it is not always comfortable. So if you miss the old you, it does not automatically mean growth was a mistake. It may simply mean that becoming more honest has made life feel heavier for a while. That is part of the transition, because eventually, awareness becomes less sharp, less like a wound, more like guidance, less like constant pain, more like clearer seeing. But before that happens, it can feel like you traded ease for truth. And in some seasons, that trade feels expensive. Still, there is a reason the old version no longer fits fully. Because even if it felt simpler, it was often carrying a peace that depended on not knowing enough. And that kind of peace rarely lasts.